Hello Year 6, this is your RE lesson for the week beginning the 18th of January. And I have, I hope, uploaded a quiz for you to do when you have completed this video. Very straightforward, but bear with me, it's my first quiz. We'll get them to be more complicated as we go on. So I'm hoping you had a chance to go through last week's lesson. If you haven't, you will need to do that before you do this lesson. It's all about beliefs and meaning. So, my final questions last week were, does anything last forever? If I can remind you, you were asked to sort a number of things into things that might last your lifetime or things that might last forever. And one of the things I added, which I hope you noticed, was stars. Do stars last forever? It's an interesting question, isn't it? They're there, and there are millions of stars that we can't see, but do they last forever? See if you can find out. And if I can work out how to do it, I will add that question to the quiz. Doesn't everything change all the time? Again, I'm looking out of my study window and I can see the trees, and the trees aren't exactly as they were last week. One of my trees in my garden, well, actually it's in my neighbour's garden, but I can see it from my window, they've got more buds on it. Now that's quite strange considering how cold the weather's been, but it's nature and it changes all the time. So does anything stay the same and does everything change? See if you can have a think about that and have a bit of a discussion if you can at home. So pause the video here and go and have a chat if you can with someone, or speak to either Mr. Larwood or Mrs. Bagmus, or if you're in Blackpool or me on Thursday, about what you found out. So, why, what, and when? So, one of the questions we've got in this unit is, what does eternity mean? So we've talked quite a little bit about that already. But if you're not sure, I want you to go and look it up and see what the dictionary actually says about it. Pause the video here and go and look it up. I hope you've managed to find out. You might have known already. But eternity means lasting forever. So that brings us on in this unit to look at rings. Why do people wear rings? What is the significance of a ring? And when do people promise to love each other forever? Pause the video and have a bit of a think. So, why do people wear rings? People wear rings because they like them, because they're attractive. Men and women wear rings. Sometimes there is a significance of a ring when somebody actually commits to somebody else. Now that might be in a marriage service, or it might be with a partner, or it might be a blessing, or it might be in a registry office, or it might be in the park, where people exchange rings because they promise to love each other forever. And when people make those promises, they usually try and keep them. It doesn't always work, and we all know that, but it's the importance of trying to see if it can work. So what could be the significance of a ring? What is it about a ring that makes it, as it were, eternal? Have a think and see what you can come up with. Perhaps you could draw me and then post them. I don't know how to do that, but I'll work it out. Some pictures of a ring. If you had a ring, what would it look like? What would be special about it? And I wonder if rings change as you get older. If you can, see if you can listen to a service, a church service, about when people promise to love forever. It would be in the wedding service. And again, if I can work it out, I will post a link to a particular bit that you can listen to. As part of RE this term, it's about thinking about why people do make those promises. Do promises always last forever? Sometimes they can be really, really difficult to last. Have a little think. One of the other things in this unit is to look at a whole range of Bible verses about love as part of our beliefs and meaning. And you've got to remember that this unit is very much based in a Christian context. So we're looking at the Bible. And this is from Mark. The most important one, answered Jesus, is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbour as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. What does that actually mean? Love your neighbour as yourself. Jot down in your exercise book a few ideas about how you could actually explain that. And then when we come back together later in the week, we'll see if you can unpick that. Here's another one. This is probably one of the most famous Bible three verses, this particular version, from Corinthians, and it's usually read at weddings, and you'll be able to work out why. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonour others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Quite a lot in those particular verses. It's a bit of a handbook, really, about how we can live. Really hard. Not saying it's easy at all. Keeps no record of wrongs. So there's no, well, last Tuesday you did. It's very much about forgiveness, and it's very much about being very humble and showing humility, which again is really hard. Read it through a couple of times. Think about what God is trying to say to us. Is it always easy to be patient, however much you love someone? You might love your sister or your brother. You will love mum and dad. But are you always patient with them? Hard, isn't it? Do not dishonour others. See if you can work out what that actually means. How does that affect us in our day-to-day life? Have a go. And our last verse from Matthew. You have heard that it was said, love your neighbour and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your own people, what more are you doing than others? Do not even pagans do that? Now that's quite a curious few verses, isn't it? And they mention tax collectors. Why does it mention tax collectors? Have a think. And I'm going to see if I can add a question about tax collectors to the quiz. But even if I don't, I want you to think about, why does it mention tax collectors? Tax collectors come up quite a lot in the Bible. But why? What is it about tax collectors? See if you can read through all of that and then see if you can answer the quiz questions. And if the quiz doesn't work, I will see if I can find out tomorrow why it's not working, but we hope it will. I look forward to seeing you very soon. Take care.